Welcome to Smokey Uncuffed. I'm Brian. On this podcast, we will talk about law enforcement, social networking and platforms, and just life. So as y'all may have guessed, if you looked at the name of this particular episode, I put on there, is Facebook faster than YouTube? Can you monetize faster on Facebook than YouTube? So I've talked about this a little bit in the past. And usually most of the time what I would say is, I've never really checked into it, don't know that much about it. And so I've been doing some research. And honestly, I think it's something I'm probably going to go ahead and try on one or both of my YouTube channels too, because I have pages for them on Facebook. And why not? Because the way it pays is very similar to YouTube. Only difference is Facebook calls it ad breaks. Facebook just calls it AdSense. So the way it works is you'll insert these little ads into your video, and just like YouTube, you'll get paid for the ads by the companies that do the advertisement. Now I say by the companies, probably by Facebook. Facebook probably takes X amount of the money, pockets it, kind of like YouTube's model. YouTube, all those little ads that pop up, the creator makes 60% of whatever that ad generates. YouTube makes 40% of it. So they're making a good chunk, because think about all the YouTube channels. Now then, when you look at Facebook, if as many people monetized on Facebook as they do on YouTube, wow. And not saying anything less, Facebook still makes a killing. Their ads that generates money for them is just staggering. So I'm going to get into some of the ins and outs of it, because my big question is it easier on Facebook than YouTube, or vice versa? I don't know. We're just going to look into it. So obviously I'm not going to be able to give you a definite answer on that today, because I don't have Facebook monetized yet. But let's just get into it and look into what it takes to monetize a Facebook page. So I've got me a little pad of notes, because I've been studying up, and so I've been trying to read up on all this stuff. So just the bare bones of it, you've got to have 10,000 likes and 10,000 followers and 30,000 1-minute views of a 3-minute video. So the videos on Facebook can only be 3 minutes for monetization. Now, you can obviously upload a video that lasts 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. They won't monetize those. Apparently all they're monetizing right now is the 3-minute videos. And I've done some searching. I don't know that there's any limit to the number of videos you have to have posted. There's not on YouTube. Obviously you could put up one video on YouTube, and if that thing exploded and went viral and you got 2,000 subscribers and 5,000 watch hours, or 4,001 we'll say, you're monetized. You can monetize. So I'm sure Facebook's got some kind of the same setup right there, but as far as how many you got to have up, I don't think it really matters. So, but a 3-minute video, that's going to be a lot to get it with one video. But 30,000 watch minutes is what they're after. See, which is far less than YouTube. Far less. YouTube is 4,000 hours of watch time, which is right around 240,000 minutes. Now on the other side of that, Facebook is just looking for 30,000 minutes. There's a big difference there. I promise you 4,000 hours takes a while. That is an unbelievable amount of time. 30,000 minutes is something I think you probably could achieve in a month or less. That amount of time is not that staggering, especially if you already have some kind of following from something else you're doing. Even if you don't, as long as you put out good content that people are interested in, I think you could generate that in a month. Okay, so let's get into it. So how are you really going to get 10,000 followers? The 10,000 likes I get, because you get enough followers and they like your videos, you're going to get the likes that go with it. So that one's kind of a no-brainer to me. But how are you really going to get 10,000 followers on Facebook? So in the past, you've heard me talk about Fiverr.com. And that's just a place that'll generate a bunch of traffic for your site, your page. So after doing some research, I'm not going to recommend using Fiverr for Facebook, because I did read some stuff that said if you use an outside source to drive traffic like Fiverr, they could shut down your Facebook page. Well, that's just not even worth the risk. I mean, just to shut you down because you use an outside company. So the way Facebook does it, they'll do a boost post thing on there. So if when I put something up on Facebook, like for my CNC Woodworks, I'll put up a picture of whatever I'm doing or just describe real well what I'm doing. And it goes to my Smokey CNC Woodworks page, which people then see. I can invite people to like it. And then it generates some traffic for me over on YouTube and on Facebook. So if I were to hit boost post for X number of minutes, it's X number of dollars. So I saw an example that said 1 cent per like. So roughly $10 would buy you 10,000 likes. So you can actually buy your way into this. So I was actually watching one earlier and a guy was talking about it, and he actually spent $130 to get everything he needed, the followers and the likes. So that's kind of a small price to pay. I mean, honestly, just to get it to where you're monetized and you've got a normal monthly check coming in, as long as you keep putting up content on a regular basis. And when I say regular basis, I'm meaning either daily or weekly. And because that's about the limit of it's weekly on something like that. And honestly, on Facebook, you probably would want to do more like 2 or 3 a week. And some people are even suggesting that you do a couple a day. That's a big ask, because if you're actually sitting down doing 2-3 minute videos, you got to edit them, make sure they're just like you want them when you put them up. Or if you're confident that you can sit there and video it in one shot, pow, do it. Do it. I mean, perfect. But yes, you're going to have to generate some serious content. And when you get that content up and people start liking it, so you're clipping along there and you see that you got 500 likes on this video that you put up. You'll see down below it says boost post. You click on that, that's where you go to put your money in, and YouTube will feed it for, I think it said $10. They'll feed it from somewhere between 10,000 and 40,000 people through there, so you'll get the number of likes that you're after. And I can already hear what people are going to say. I mean, that is awfully self-serving for Facebook. Well, you know, it is, but here's the thing. It's their business. And it is a very good model. And be honest with yourself. If you had that option at your business to say, you know what, hey, I can bring somebody in for 1 cent. So if you need a staggering number of people to come through there, we can do it for a reasonable price. Because I got to be honest, for $10 getting up to 40,000 people to come through your site, that's pretty reasonable, because there is going to be some retention there. Now, granted, it may not be a staggering amount, because depending on what you're talking about, what you're doing on your content, you may not have the kind of following that you're wanting out of that. So you may need to niche that down. What I mean by that is you may need to get into some of the analytical stuff. They've got tools on Facebook. You can get in there and you can say, okay, look, I'm looking for men. And you can click on men from the ages of 20 to 55. And you can move a little scale. It'll take you just those people and it will narrow it down. It will focus that. So you're eliminating everything outside that. So you got a focused group coming towards your channel. So after those boosts, here's an amazing thing that Facebook does, is they will recommend one of your other videos after this one ends. So whenever you do a boost, and say you boost something that's got 500 likes, you throw $10 at it, and it brings in, 20, 30,000 people. Well, now guess what? Say 10,000 of them watch it. Those 10,000 are going to see this at the end and say, oh, he's got another video up. Now it's just kind of a guessing game of what the percentage of that is that's going to watch the second one. But still, that is free traffic to your older videos. I mean, that's priceless. YouTube uses the same platform. At the end of our videos, on my end screen, I can put, subscribe to my channel, and up here, check out my last video. Same thing, but I promise you it works. Because when you do have a video that takes off, really gets the views, your video that you have listed there will also get the views. So like Google or YouTube, Facebook pays once a month, and you just get your check cut for all your ad breaks that are put in there. So unlike so many other social networking platforms, you can still do affiliate marketing. You can do that from the get-go, from video number 1 on Facebook. You can set up an affiliate marketing thing. You sit there and go, hey, you guys like my little lights here? I'm going to leave a link down below if y'all want to go check them out. Well, so you leave a link to that, they get to it, you make money. I mean, as long as they buy it, you make a little bit of money. Now, it's never a bunch of money. It's just going to be pennies on the dollar, but you add all those pennies together and now you got a dollar. And something else we need to point out here about affiliate marketing. You know, I always talk about Amazon because that is the main one that I work with is Amazon. And it is a great one. You can find just about any product you can think of, anything you're using, you can find it on there. And you can put the links down below and they pay well. I get paid every month by them. Now then, you really need to look out there and just look at the companies. Say you are looking at these lights and you find the brand maker. I don't know the brand of these things. Say they were made by Panasonic, whoever. Streamlight, that's even better one because it's a flashlight company. Say this was made by Streamlight. So you go over to Streamlight and you find out that, you know, for their affiliate marketing, they've got 25, 30, 35% reimbursement. Amazing. There are web pages and companies out there that will give 100% commission on you bringing them new people. So that means that if you bring somebody into their website and they buy something and it came from you, they'll give you whatever that cost they just bought. The reason they do that is usually they're selling a product that they know they're going to have a repeat customer time and time again out of that one that bought that thing. So you won't make money off of their other purchases, but you made it off that one. And don't get me wrong, those are actually few and far between, but they are out there. It's just something you need to keep your eye open for. I mean, anything. Whenever you're searching around the internet and you're looking at a particular brand of something, just go down all the way to the bottom of the page and you'll see a deal that says affiliate marketing, affiliate links, whatever. Click on it and just kind of look at it. It'll explain right there how much they pay on that kind of stuff. So, I mean, Amazon, theirs is generally anywhere from 3% to 10%, depending on what kind of product it is. And I mean, that's the obvious choice for me right now, simply because most of the stuff I list on there are parts and tools for woodworking, CNC machine parts and tools for woodworking. So I need to look out and check out Grizzly and DeWalt and Black & Decker. I need to check all these out and see if they have a better affiliate program than what you could even get from Amazon. Never hurts to check. So even like what I'm talking on right here, Buzzsprout, that is who I put my podcast through. That's it's the platform that basically gets it out there to all the different stuff, Spotify, Apple Music, I mean everything. They blast it out there, and so I don't have to deal with doing that every time I put a podcast out. It's very handy. So what I was saying was, Buzzsprout offers a deal, so when I go to my landing page, which is www.smokeyuncuffed.com, I can put a link in there for Buzzsprout, and they will use whatever code Buzzsprout gives to me. It may be my channel name or just a random code. You use that to set up your account, and it will take a huge percentage off the cost of setting up your account. And on top of that, I'll get 20 bucks or 25 bucks. I can't really remember. I hadn't done it yet. I do plan to do it. What I'm trying to do right now is just waiting for this podcast to grow. So I'm diving a little off topic there. Let's go back to Facebook. So what I'm saying there is you can do the affiliate marketing on your Facebook videos. You can talk about a product, really sell somebody on it, and if they go buy it through your link, bam, now you're getting paid. So if you're thinking, yeah, this is something I really need to be doing. I've really got a big following, and if I boosted it a little bit, if I did some paid traffic boost through Facebook, man, I could be there quick. So the way you really want to check this is you set up your page, you go over to the left, and you'll see down there on the left side of your computer screen a little community button. Click on that community button. You go over to the right side of that screen, it'll tell you how many likes you have, and it'll tell you how many followers you have. So I really feel like this could be a real secondary type of income off the internet. So here's what I would really want you to think about too. So say you're already running a little YouTube channel and you've got 1,200 people there. Well, get on your YouTube channel and you can mention it on there if they can come over and check you out on Facebook. And while you're on Facebook, you start getting that thing built up faster. Hey, why don't you check me out on YouTube? So right there, you're crossing the paths of them. You're gaining on both, and you're making them both bigger, and they're both paying you. So there are various tools out there that help you do all this. They help you keep track of where you're at, what your videos are doing, and basically just give you a good grasp of the analytics of what's going on for you there on Facebook. On YouTube, we've got much the same thing. YouTube itself provides pretty good analytics. But I'm also subscribed to a deal called TubeBuddy that helps you out when you're building your videos, building your content. And they give you also suggestions like tags, stuff like that. Tags are just 1 or 2 word things that you put down below, so that way a search engine will pick it up. So if you're talking about police chases, you want to put in there law enforcement down in a tag. Cars, chases, pursuits. You want to use all these little tags. That way a search engine will find that video easier. Now, does Facebook have the same setup on that? I really don't know. I haven't done it yet. I'll know here before long because I do plan on starting it, and I'll probably rehash some of this with y'all just so you'll know exactly the course I'm taking and how it's growing. Because if I can sit right here and do a podcast and grow another stream of income and tell you about it while it's happening, I'm hoping it'll inspire more of you to try it, because a lot of this is just money that's sitting there that costs you nothing to make. Okay, so now we'll get into the portion where I've got to tell you, this isn't going to be legal advice. Do not think you can go to court and use this as legal advice. If you need real legal advice, consult an attorney before making any decisions on what actions to take on any kind of laws that you've been cited for breaking. So obviously what I'm about to talk about is some traffic laws. The last few weeks I've been putting out yells. If y'all got questions, email your questions to smokeyuncuffed@gmail.com, or you can drop me a message on www.smokeyuncuffed.com, or you can even drop one in the comments down below on the YouTube channel. So the very first one that I got asked this time was running a stop sign. They got a ticket for running a stop sign. And through their little discussion with me, they said that, I came up to that stop sign, I stopped. I came to a stop. And this officer pulled me over and said I didn't. So then I have questions whenever you tell me that. Okay, did you actually stop, or did you do a California stop? We always laughingly call it a California stop because you'd pull up to the stop sign, look both ways, nobody's coming, and you just keep rolling right on through. And so a lot of people are really guilty of that. I mean, even myself am sometimes, just when I'm not thinking about it. Because whenever you come to a complete stop, think about it, you come to a complete stop at a red light, you come and stop and you are sitting completely still. Now, whenever you come up to a stop sign, a lot of times, the traffic's not real heavy, a lot of times you'll just creep forward a little bit, not ever completely stopping. Well, that's called a California stop. So another point you have to look at is when you come to a complete stop at a stop sign, is the nose or the front of your car behind the line, the imaginary perpendicular line in the front of your car? So as long as you stay behind that and stay behind the stop sign, you've done a legal stop. Now then, whenever you do that, you come up to that stop sign and you come to a stop and the stop sign's right here beside you, you're wrong. You've ran the stop sign, you've gone past the point of where you're supposed to stop. Now, I can already hear it, a lot of signs are put in places where there's stuff on the corner, you can't really see it around. Well, in that instance, the way to do it is stop behind the stop sign, come to a complete stop, then creep a little forward until you can clearly see that it's safe to go. So after talking to this person further, we carried on and come to find out they admitted, I probably rolled the stop sign. I didn't come to a complete stop, I just kept creeping forward, and they got him for not stopping at the stop sign, which fair enough. Now, there's time and place for that. I didn't always ride it, especially if I was out in the country. We live in a rural part of Oklahoma, and you go down country roads, well, you might only have 2 cars an hour down one road. Now, if you just blow one blatantly, yeah, I'm probably going to get you. But if you just come up and you do a pretty decent stop, may creep forward a little bit, you're out in the country. Yeah, there's not a lot going on. If you're on a state highway, and you're coming up to a state highway and you do that, yeah, you're probably nailed. That's just flat dangerous, because state highways, the speeds are so different than what they are on side roads. We have a divided 4-lane just out to the west of us that's 70 miles an hour. The roads coming up to it are all 45. So you've slowed down to 15 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour, and you roll this stop sign and pull right out. Well, now if you just happen not to see the car that's doing 70 coming up on you and you're doing 10, bad crash. So the next question is a little bit more unique. I've actually stopped this several times, but on a divided 4-lane like an interstate system. And there's a median in between. And you decide, hey, I missed my exit. I need to go back there, and I don't want to wait till the next exit. And you find one of the crossovers, a little place where there's a little road that goes across to turn and go the other way, and you cut through there. and zip onto the interstate. Okay, somebody got stopped for this, and they were asking about it. Why? What's the deal? Well, here's the deal. It's illegal to enter the median on purpose on an interstate system or a turnpike. That median crossover is for construction equipment and emergency vehicles. That's it. Nobody else is to be out in that median. Reason being is just like I said before I go on the stop sign thing, traffic on that interstate is doing 70, 75, 80. You at this moment are doing 0 because you're waiting for a clear spot to jump out there. You jump out there and you misgauge it, or what more often than not happens, you jump out there and the guy that's traveling in the outside lane that's doing 80 miles an hour suddenly decides he needs to be in that inside lane. He pulls in that inside lane. You don't notice it in time. You pull out, crash. So yes, that one is absolutely 100% illegal. And you're probably, if somebody, a trooper or an officer witnesses it, you're probably going to get the earful about it too. Because there's signs that say, do not drive in median, all up and down the interstate system. That means on those crossovers too. That means nowhere do you drive in the median. I mean, it gets done, and as a trooper, I did it constantly, and it's still, in my opinion, even us doing it, it's not super safe. What we do know is that when we exit the road, we don't have to slow down. Oh yeah, you think about that. So you want to turn around in this deal, so you have to slow down to 10 miles an hour to make that turn. Well, now the traffic behind you may rear end you if they're not paying attention. So what I was just fixing to get into there when that hit me, that little nugget, is whenever you're exiting right there on that, if you'll notice when a trooper or a deputy does that, they're doing probably 60 miles an hour. They pull off into the grass at that speed and then slow down off the roadway and then take that turnaround. More often than not, that's the way to do it. Now, when I get back on, I might do it the same way. I might cut out in the grass, get my speed up in the grass, then hop on. Or I'm just going to jump out in the road, but I know when I jump on the road, I'm romped on it. And most of our cars were souped up a little bit, so they can get up to speed quickly. The average car is not. Therefore, that's what's going to bring in the problems, is getting rear-ended by some faster traffic. For that one, that's not one I was real forgiving on. I mean, you did it, you're probably going to pay the ticket because it's just so dangerous out there anyway. And now we got traffic pulling out here at 5 to 10 miles an hour. No. Okay, so the next one is one all of us have to do. Nobody's happy about it. Is your tag. You know, I get asked all the time, well, my tag's only 2 days out. I mean, I'm not getting in trouble for that, am I? Well, around here where I'm at, probably not. Now, could you get stopped for it? Sure. I mean, your tag is expired by law. It's expired. Now, where I live at, we happen to know most of the judges around us really don't take monetary action on something like that until 90 days, almost 3 months out. So what that leads to around here, which my buddies around, if everybody else around here is listening to it, they're going to be griping at me. We really don't write tickets on it real often until 90 days out. And that's simply to give people a chance because, you know, people forget. And you'll stop them, you'll get them 3 months out. And I might not write them a ticket because clearly they're like, oh my gosh, I thought that thing was out in October. And you can tell when they're stunned. The ones that aren't stunned, you can tell they're just trying to slide by and not pay as long as they can. So what the fine for that is failure to pay all taxes due state. So, I mean, yes, it's a tax on your car so you can drive it legally. Now, what we often get asked about on that stuff is, how is that a safety issue? It's not. I mean, your tag being expired is not a safety issue, especially now in Oklahoma. We no longer have an inspection law, so your car doesn't even get inspected yearly. But you have to think, what are you driving on right now? Roads. And if you're driving on state highways, guess where a lot of that money comes from? Tags, stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just more tax money for the state, but that's not really money that's going just in anybody's pocket. That's money that's getting reinvested into the whole transportation system. So you need to do things correctly. That way we know the tag's up to date. We know who owns that car. Because if you let a tag go out for 10 years and you sold the car and it's sold twice since then, well, as far as we know, you still own the thing. And you're letting Billy Bob in Indiana drive the thing now. Well, it's just another way of making sure we know who has what car, which is very useful information, simply because if you're missing, something happens to you, and we're trying to get hold of somebody, you don't have any identification on you, we can track it through your car and find out who you are, get hold of your local police department and do some more tracking on you, and eventually find out how to get a hold of some of your loved ones. That one hasn't happened a great deal. I have seen it happen once though, where they had to actually track through the tag and figure out who this person's people were, and unfortunately that was a fatality accident. And we just basically did that to track them down so one of us could go make notification to them of what had happened. Okay, I'm going to throw you a little bonus one in here. And this one wasn't as much of a question that somebody had got involved with and gotten in trouble for, as much as they wanted to hear my opinion of it. And so, it's the seatbelt law. So in Oklahoma, legally driving that car, you have to have that seatbelt on. Children have to be in car seats in the back seat. Your front seat passenger has to be belted. Now, an adult passenger in the back seat does not have to be belted in Oklahoma. So what they're asking me is how is it right for them to mandate that you have to wear a seatbelt for your safety when they still allow the sale of cigarettes and snuff and all that stuff, which is just as dangerous? Well, it's hard to argue that. I know that stuff's dangerous too. Here's the part you have to look at. As the driver of that car, if you are involved in a motor vehicle accident, and after you have this crash, you're conscious and your car is still in motion, you could have the ability to stop it or at least turn it so it doesn't cause a second crash. Now, that's not always the case. I understand that. But the whole side of it is who doesn't want to be as safe as they can? Our roads are getting packed more and more by the day, and there are getting to be more and more distractions by the day with all the smartphone stuff that's out there. All the electronics inside the car, the GPSs. I mean, those things cause a lot of crashes too, because you're not paying attention to the road, you're looking over at the dash and seeing what's going on there. So, yeah, I get where people are upset by it, but I'm not going to say I'm against it. And where we get a lot of kickback in Oklahoma on that very question is, in Oklahoma, you don't legally have to have a helmet riding a motorcycle. How's that right? I mean, you really think about it, that makes zero sense. For somebody in a 3,000-pound car coming down the highway, they have to be belted in. But the guy on the motorcycle that just passed him doesn't even have a helmet on. Now, there's reasons behind that madness. There's been studies that said if you're in a crash on a motorcycle, the weight of that helmet is very likely to break your neck. Well, yeah. But if you come off of that thing and whack your head, it's very likely you will die or have brain damage. So, I mean, that's just one of those double-edged swords, a lot of that stuff, because, yeah, I think they ought to have a helmet on. But do I see the argument on the other side? Yes. Seatbelts the same way. I think you should wear them simply because it's just safer. Now then, do I see people arguing with it? Yeah. I mean, I get it to a point. So, I mean, you got to know in Oklahoma, here's how hard we are on people not wearing seatbelts. It's $20 and it doesn't go on your record. So, basically for Oklahoma, to me, it's just a revenue producer. It's not really about the safety, or else if they were really concerned about the safety, they'd say, okay, look, you're going to wear it or else this thing's $150 if you're not wearing it. We don't do that. That would catch your attention and compel you to keep that thing on. And there's always instances where you don't have to wear it. If you have a doctor's order not to wear it, then you don't have to wear it. Because, I mean, it may be something that goes across your heart. You have a pacemaker or something in that it conflicts with. Okay, well, I mean, if you have a doctor's order, okay. An odd one for Oklahoma is farmers. Farmers, if you're within 50 air miles of your house, you don't have to have a seatbelt on because you're doing farm business. Because you're in and out of your vehicle so much. You're checking cows and you're running over these big plots of property and you're having to jump in and out closing gates. So they made it where it was legal for them to not wear a seatbelt. Which honestly, that probably just had to come to some politician that had a big ranch and he didn't want to be hassled with having to wear one. That's probably the truth of that matter. And I actually heard a really good argument about motorcycles the other day, because there was a deal and this guy was griping because his buddy was riding a motorcycle and didn't like the fact that he was out in some LA traffic or a big city traffic. and talking about how unsafe it was. And the guy that rides the bike says, how unsafe is it? When I'm riding a motorcycle, I can't be drinking a pop. I can't have a cell phone in my hand and texting. All I'm doing is paying attention to the traffic. He said, motorcycle drivers are the #1 most offensive driver in the United States. I don't doubt that for a minute. And with that said, I mean, I think he kind of put the guy in his place about motorcycles in general. Now, then the helmet thing, yeah, I think they need to wear them. It's just, and if they have to, and the neck's a problem, make it where they have to wear a helmet and some kind of neck protection so it doesn't cause a big whiplash. Just my thought. So I'm sure this whole seatbelt thing is something I'll revisit down the road because it's always been a controversial one. So guys, that's going to be about it for this one. If you'll hadn't checked me out on www.smokeyuncuffed.com, run over there and check it out. It's also found here on YouTube. Don't forget about my Smokey CNC Woodworks on YouTube. And I'll see y'all and hear y'all next time.